I can hear you. You can hear me.
Yep.
Come on, guys. You know the deal. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 7 on 7 podcast. Man, I'm so excited for today's episode. We've been trying to make this happen for a while. Yeah. Literally, no bullshit. We've been talking and chopping it up, and he's the one who did my website that's soon to be coming out that I've been talking about for a long time. So, number one, I appreciate you doing that.
Brother,
it's amazing. I'm really excited to share it. But it's been like a year to a year and a half of communication,
Yeah.
but we've never met in person. So today is actually the first day we've ever met in the fucking on the podcast. Yes. Episode 37 today with Q or Qasid.
37?
37.
That's my baseball number.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, that's my brother's birthday. He passed away. 37 is my lucky number. This is actually crazy to me right now.
Really? Yeah, it's episode. This is episode 37.
What?
Dude, that's
a little
synchronicity.
That's a little fate right there, man.
That's synchronicity right there. Wow.
That's crazy.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
37. I don't know if I've ever actually known anybody that's had a double lucky number.
Yeah, 37.
Together or 3 and 7?
37.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, 37 for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
That's wild.
I know. I see you right now. I see you right now. You're like, yo, what the fuck?
Like, I wish I had a photo of like my jerseys, but yeah, that was my brother's number in high school, and I used to wear it.
Wow.
Like, as a tribute.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Episode 37.
Cool.
So this is
where we're meant to be right now.
Exactly. This is exactly where we're meant to be right now.
Divine timing.
It's divine timing, guys. But I cannot wait for this episode. I appreciate you guys tuning in. But for the people who kind of don't know you, are unfamiliar with you, new listeners of the show who are going to tune in, or previous listeners to the show, kind of give everybody like a little synopsis of like who you are, what you do, where you came from, just so like people can get familiar.
Yeah, so I'm Orange County, born and raised.
Come on now, Juice County.
Juice County. I've lived pretty much everywhere you can. Well, not everywhere, but I've Santa Ana, Garden Grove, Anaheim, Westminster.
Okay, so you always kind of been in this area.
I bounced around in this area for sure. But I don't really say I'm from any city in particular, just because I've been through so many of them.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I really had like
a home,
like a staple home where I'm like, oh yeah, that's where I'm from.
Got you.
But yeah, I'm a recording artist, songwriter, creative director, I guess, a man of many hats, but
brand owner.
I'm just trying to take it, trying to find the one that I want to focus on really though. And I think it's music, and it's been a big part of my daily creative process for the last year, and that's pretty much where I'm at now. It's just working on music all the time and really honing that craft and mastering it, because it was my first love my whole life, and
feel that.
I don't want to let it slip by while I have all the time to do it.
Feel that.
I see people wait
big time
years and years, and it's like, oh, you missed the prime opportunity to really do something.
Bro, that's so crazy. I literally was just listening to something that they had it was an analogy that I'm like, yo, I've never heard this, but I really fuck with this. It's like kind of to your point. Imagine there's like an orange tree, and the orange tree has hella oranges, and you have the opportunity to squeeze the shit out of all the oranges while they're on the tree. But the thing is one day you can wake up and there are no more oranges on the tree. So it's like, squeeze that shit as hard as you can right now, because you never know.
It's that get it while the getting's good.
Come on.
Come on. And I've talked about it before with my friends. Like, somebody asked me, do you regret not dropping the music, when you had more of a prime audience, I guess, when social media was more engaging. When I was at Yours Truly, I had a fan base that was actively watching me, and I'm like, of course, you regret it, but you can't dwell on it.
You can't go back.
I can't just sit here and think oh man, I missed the opportunity in 21.
Facts.
I'm just not gonna do it now. No, you got to do it. The road's a little more difficult to navigate now, but you still got to do it.
Facts.
If you really want it, you got to do it. You could always just say nah, I don't want it no more. But if that's the case, did you ever really want it that bad? I want it bad enough to take it now.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's the orange tree got 2 oranges on it, but I'm going to squeeze the shit out of those oranges.
Squeeze the shit out of the oranges, bro. It's going to be the best orange juice you ever had in your life.
But you know what? At the same time, there's people who go to the orange tree when there's all those oranges, and they don't squeeze it the right way, So, it might be the right timing for you, but did you do things correctly? Did you pick the right oranges?
Yeah.
What if 2 of them or 3 of them have more juice than 10 of them, So that's the way I look at things. That's why I didn't feel so bad about, I missed that window of opportunity. I've seen artists, and you've seen artists probably blow up at 38 while other ones blow up at 15.
Yeah.
It's that not everyone's story and timeline's the same. So I really hold that into account, and That's why I look at everything with a sense of like optimism, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to look at it. I'm very much the same way. I'm always half glass full. Like,
Oh yeah,
I think you have to be, because if you choose to look at it the other way, it's only detrimental to you and everybody else around you.
especially in our craft. Like,
Come on.
as a creative, people don't realize like every day is just a fucking mystery. Like, you don't know what you're gonna wake up to. Like,
Hell no.
like
Or like what's gonna be the inspiration, or what you're gonna feel to create, to write, to
man,
to
sometimes you think
man.
you probably think you got a hit reel, or like I'm like, oh man, I got a fucking hit song and I'm gonna put it out today and everyone's gonna love it. Like, man, that shit got 10 likes.
Yeah,
and
my
no
God,
one
dude.
gave a fuck.
Story of my life.
And then I post some stupid shit that has nothing to do with music and it just takes off. You know, like that's the life of an artist.
It is.
And you gotta just keep going, because eventually the music's gonna hit. Like, eventually the one little post that you don't think is gonna hit is gonna hit, and it's gonna work out that way. Like my EP that I put out, like the song that I hate the most ended up being the biggest song on the project.
Bro. That is always how it is.
The biggest song on the project.
That's always how it is. But it's just a level of consistency, and I've spoken on this on so many episodes.
for
Like,
sure.
it's just a level of consistency of trying everything until you figure out what you like, what you don't like, and then taking parts of what you don't like and what you like, and kind of being like, okay, this part is what I don't like, but I like elements of it. How can I turn it into something that maybe I do like with something that I know I really like over here? Like,
sure.
I think the blending process is like so crucial.
For sure.
That's been my biggest thing, like, especially in the whole fucking content side of things, like,
Yeah.
is just trial and error
man.
beyond trial and error,
The
dog.
drafts
Like,
are full.
dude, my fucking God.
The drafts are loaded.
My God,
It's
dude.
like a hard drive full of like 80 songs and not knowing what to drop. It's the same. It's the same deal. Like,
It's
if
so
you're
refreshing talking to
you're
an artist.
engineer. You're an engineer. I know you know. There's like 500 mixed versions of one song in your thing, and you're like, man, I'm never gonna figure out which one it is. But eventually, you know, you weed it out and you find the one, and it just feels right. It speaks to you.
Facts.
I think my advantage in the field of music is having worked with an artist that's just at a level where I'm learning. You know, I worked with Phora for a long time, and it was easy for me to see like, oh man, like I've seen the guy have his head down about certain things that didn't go the way we all thought it was gonna go.
Yeah.
And it just taught me like, oh, you can't let that one moment like beat you up, because
Facts.
then I watched like a month later something hit crazy, and it's just, we didn't expect that, you know. And that kind of gave me that sense of, okay, like everything will be okay. Like the song didn't work, you know, even with a diehard loyal fan base, like it's just a moment. Like we're so reliant on this technology to like push out our creative you know, pieces of art, that it's an algorithm, bro. Like sometimes it's in our favor, sometimes it's not in our favor, but like you can't just allow that to structure the way you do things.
I love that.
You gotta have, you know, everything loaded up in the magazine, ready to go.
Facts.
Like,
No, truly.
might be the right time to shoot, you know, might not be, and that's the way I view everything.
I love that.
creatively,
I got a question for you, because I'm curious. You know, obviously, I'm just super curious from an artistic standpoint. Being a fellow artist is like, you know, I can relate very heavily to your point you said a little while ago, where like music was your first love. Man, I resonate with that really heavily. For you, like, what was that moment for you as an artist that you were like, hey, yo, I think this is something that I really want to do? Or was there a project, a movie, an artist, a moment? I always, you guys who are listening to the podcast are going to think I'm sound like a broken record, but I always say this is like, whether it's an artist, a creative, a designer, videographer, I always feel like there's that moment in there, whether it's a childhood or adolescence of some sort, where it's like that moment sparks, oh,
this is it. I need to be there. I need to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So my love for music, I'll start there, stemmed when I was a child. My older cousin, who I've always viewed as my older brother, my dad raised him because his father wasn't in the picture. When we were young, he's 6 years older than me. He used to like burn CDs. We're talking like LimeWire, even pre-LimeWire.
God.
Pre-LimeWire, he would burn CDs. And
wow.
LimeWire. I'm like 5 or 6 years old. I remember vividly. Eminem was like it, you know. So Slim Shady LP. He burnt a bunch of songs onto it, and my dad just went ballistic. He's like, "Don't play that shit. Don't fucking let him hear that. What the hell?" Because you know, Eminem at that time was just vulgar, like crazy,
no filter, you know, at all.
Like, I wanted to be like my brother. Like, he's listening to all this crazy shit. Like, I want to listen to hip hop. So I started, you know, I started peeling things back and started learning about art. And my dad got a little more receptive to the idea of like, oh man, this, I'm not going to stop him from learning about what he loves, but I'm going to tell him like, all right, you don't need to be saying what's being said in these songs, so on and so forth. So my love for music stemmed there. My dad played me The Chronic by Dr. Dre and told me like, man, this was the first like rap CD that I really loved and blah, 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 blah. Cause he was into like 80s music. My dad was out at the clubs,
Oh yeah.
He's a that kind of guy. And he told me this story about having The Chronic in his truck, and somebody actually broke into the car to steal the stereo, and they stole that CD with it out of the glove box. So like I have little different stories about music, and I've always been surrounded by it. Being taken to school by my mom, by my dad, listening to all the different types of music that they listen to, and my mom putting me on to like classical, like techno 80s, like dance music, even 70s music. But my real love in the moment that I knew like, man, this is it. Like that's what I gotta do. It's the guy's getting torched right now, but Drake. I was at a Drake concert in 2016. He's getting torched. I was at the Summer 16 tour in LA.
Okay.
And the intro moment for him coming out was to the song Summer 16, and I remember the build up and being in the crowd and watching all the lights come up. It was like my first big solo artist concert that I went to, and I remember like the music playing and the build up that they did, and then as the songs dropped in, the smoke and the screen was just so like, damn, it was captivating. And I was like, I need to be on a fucking tour like this. Like I need to get to this point. I'm not gonna stop until I feel like that. I want people to feel like I'm feeling right now for me when I'm up there. And this is 2016, like I want to say June, but somewhere between June and August. I'm there with my cousin, and I'm just basking in the moment. Like, it's one of my favorite artists. This is the first time I've ever seen the guy, and he put on a show. He put on a crazy show, and but that was the key moment that I was like, yeah, this is it for me. Doing. So I started literally September of that year. I quit my job, and got out. It all kind of like just happened immediately. I've been itching to get out of a relationship that like my girl wasn't very supportive of the creative things that I was doing, and I was like, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. She wants me to be a suit and tie guy. I can't be him though. Like
I feel you.
I can't be that guy. I'm not gonna sit in a cubicle all day, and
I feel you.
I'm not gonna do it. I was raised in a family where like I can't have a boss, bro. Like I just grew up with the mentality of I have to be the guy in charge. So I knew whether it was going to be creative or business or otherwise that I was not going to be the guy she wanted. I'm not going to be a banker. I'm not going to.
I'm not going to be an accountant. I'm not going to. Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
I'm not a finance bro.
Yeah, sorry. So it took me a long time because we were together for 3.5 years to be like, yo, like you don't support this big thing in my life that I've been wanting to do since I was a child. Like this is the breaking point for us. So be it. And we kind of, put everything out on the table and had a discussion and ended up parting ways. Quit my job, saved up all my money, and I was like, man, like let me see, like let me try something. So end of 2016, got me a little $50 mic from Sam Ash, R.I.P. They're not open anymore, and built this makeshift studio recording booth in my room with like $200 supplies from Home Depot.
Hell yeah.
Padded it up with some Amazon foam, and I just recorded myself, bro. Horrible first project.
That's always how it goes.
No mixing, like whatsoever.
Yeah, it's completely raw. You don't know.
GarageBand filter, like male voice, reverb, hip hop.
This
R&B,
shit hits.
Boom, put it out. When you're early and you're the underdog, bro, that's when your friends and family are like supportive of you, like So it was cool. I had people, and I did a show at the Yoast.
Dude, I used to play at the Yoast all the time.
I love that venue,
bro. That venue is so iconic.
I obviously couldn't do the full venue. Like I'm not there. I'm not that guy. I'm barely. I did the upstairs. I think they call it like the mezzanine.
Yeah.
There's like that viewing area, but there's a room there where there's a bar. That was its own venue.
Yep.
Scrapped up $1,000, rented out the venue.
Wow.
Sold tickets for like $15. Had some openers come. It was a successful night. It felt good. It was my first time solo performing. I'd opened up shows before that, but it felt good, man. And I think even on top of the Drake shit, that was more so of a moment where like, I love this. You know, when you get your
yeah.
first taste of like the success and the feeling, it's like a drug. Once you feel that, you need to chase it, bro. And that's, as an artist, once you get that first little bit of success, that's what keeps you going, because it's like, ooh, like
I can taste it.
I taste it. I loved it. I need more of it. What do I do? How do I position myself, and how do I continue to grow as an artist to, you know, further this feeling? And that was actually probably the real key moment, was walking out that night, counting the bread, like dirty 5s and 10s and 1s, and just taking my friends like, oh, let's go to Denny's. Like I spent the whole $400 at Denny's. Probably took like 15 people, bro.
Fire.
It was like,
yeah, you just feel like the man though.
I still feel and remember that day like as if it was yesterday. And I'll never let go of that. You know, even at this, I did a show at Garden Amp last summer in June. I did the same shit. I took my earnings. I took everyone to Denny's. Same Denny's on Harbor Boulevard, right off the 22.
I know literally exactly what Denny's you're talking about.
Everyone there. I was drunk. I won a teddy bear on the claw machine, drunk. Like everyone in Denny's was watching us scream, and they were like, "What's going on?" I was just cloud nine.
Yeah, you was living life.
Just did a sold out show, made some money, took all my friends to eat. I don't care if I walked away with $100 that night. I was there for the vibe.
Damn.
You know.
I have a question, because I'm curious, because the side of the industry that you're in is obviously it's different than my side, but it's not.
Yeah.
But as far as, I'm just really curious on the aspect of set curation and show curation, being like a solo artist like that, where it's like not like, hey, I'm loading my set on a USB and it's like this, it has record box and cue points. I feel like it is similar-esque in the way where, do you like pick your best 15 songs, or do you structure where it's like the first half of the show, or like the beginning show is like super high energy, and then in the middle it slows down, then ramps back up, or vice versa, like kind of like a set? Like, I'm just curious how that works.
So this early on in my career, I guess it's easier because at that time I really had one official EP release with like 5 songs on it, but I had unreleased and I had old songs that some people knew of, you know, where I'm like, okay, like there's probably going to be people in the crowd that know this, like, even if not, we're going to make it a vibe to where they know it.
Got you.
The biggest thing for me is, me and the DJ usually the night before, maybe a week before, go to a rehearsal at a studio, and I go for feeling. Like there's songs that I'm like, that feels like an opening song that I walk out to. You know, there's a build up there, the drums are crazy. It just depends. If it's an intimate show, sometimes I'll start it off slow and then build into that. But for a show like that, where it's my solo show, I went with like crazy feeling opening, and then I kind of just got into like more of the deeper bodies of work.
Got you.
And then at the end of the show, if there's like pleads for an encore, we do like some crazy unreleased stuff. I don't want people sitting there bored during an unreleased song that they don't know, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I do stuff like that.
Dope.
For opening a show, I guess it's kind of the same thing. I usually pick like my 3 best though. Like when you're opening for an artist and you're trying to get fans that aren't already fans of yours, you want songs that are easy to remember, that are melodic, where it's like, oh, the hook on that is fucking memorable, they're gonna remember that. Or if it's a crowd of girls, you want something that, you know, is gonna feed to them more. Like I'm not gonna perform in front of a bunch of girls for an R&B artist that I'm opening for and do some crazy rap shit. Like it doesn't make any sense. You know, so I curate things in that kind of way. I'm not always right, you know. You never know who's going to show up in attendance.
For sure.
Yeah, it's kind of the same idea, though.
Got you.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't think it's too far off.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I feel like it's kind of like similar. Yeah. Just in different lanes.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn.
But that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So, I kind of want to touch more on the music stuff right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Your music now, as far as like a lot of like your discography that I've heard, is, I would encourage you to describe it better than I think I would, is what kind of subgenre or genre of music is it? Is it hip hop? Is it rap? Is it like cloud rap? You know, there's like these like,
the industry's named it emo rap.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
It's emo rap. It's like it's still rap given you know, drums and stuff like that. It doesn't really fall into alternative. But yeah, it's rap that dives into feelings, into more of a dark like lane of R&B. Like you wouldn't necessarily call it R&B, like a guy's talking about some crazy stuff on it. It's really like pouring your heart out onto a song.
Would you say that's kind of like the Kid Leroy clams?
It's Kid Leroy. It's XXX like 17.
Okay, got you.
You know, it's that kind of lane.
God, I love that project.
Yeah, that's bro. I would die for that.
Oh
project,
my God,
man.
I love that project so much. I haven't. Man.
That was the inspo for my EP.
Okay,
You know,
man, I haven't listened to that project from back in a minute.
I did a dive into his discography like 2-3 months ago, nonstop. Just listened all the way through. You know, controversy aside, the guy as an artist was just magnificent, bro. For the ear, for production, his actual structuring of lyrics and music, and the vision that he had. That project is what I call conceptual. You know, like he had a vision for it. It wasn't just 10 songs slapped together or anything like that.
It was a cohesive story.
For sure, it evoked a feeling all the way through, and it was like kind of a consistent feeling at the end of the day. But yeah, big inspo for sure. I will say, continuing forward, like I might dive into it a little bit, but when I went into that project, it was kind of, these are like leftover songs of stuff that I would work on in the years prior. And I was like, man, I want to put this feeling out there that I felt for so long, but it's not really what I feel right now. I got to get it out there. Moving forward, I would say my discography is not going to be, you know, really filled with too much of that kind of stuff. I want to get into more storytelling, getting more creative with the concepts than just being a sad artist. Like I don't want to beat a dead horse for my whole career.
Totally.
And be boxed in.
I think that's smart, because I feel like that emo rap subgenre is hard to not get stuck in.
Oh, for sure.
Because I feel like if you make like 5 songs like that, people are like, oh,
damn,
this is what I'm expecting.
How many times can I talk about this shit? Like, how much sad stuff is there for me to talk about?
For sure,
you know?
yeah. And I think that's like good that you're like aware of that, because I think that goes with any genre of music. Like if you make fucking tech house and you only make tech house forever, or you only
got 30 songs that I could go to. I don't need to hear 10 more.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
like your discography, I'm good. Like you've given me enough.
For sure.
Like, I don't need to hear that.
Yeah.
It's the same as watching an artist kind of like go into a genre or a lane that's so far off from what you're used to. It's like, man, I don't need you for that. Like I got people I listen to for that.
Totally.
Like, it's like the whole argument of, oh, we want Drake on Griselda, dark, grimy. Like, man, I do not want to hear that guy on that shit. Like, you know, I want to hear Griselda on that shit. I want to hear
Westside.
I want to hear Westside Gunn and Conway and Benny the Butcher on that. Literally. I don't want to hear Drake on that. Like, sorry. I want to hear Drake on some shit that's gonna make me sad while I'm driving and text my ex. Typical, you know. And I will say, when Drake made Honestly Nevermind, people were hating on that shit. I hated it a little bit, but amazing project.
Yeah, I think conceptually it's a really cool project. Like,
I understood the hate, because it's like, man, what are you doing? Like, that
Text Go Green.
That song right there is crazy, bro.
I love that song.
Crazy. So like,
Text Go Green is a banger.
He was right when he said like, y'all behind, like y'all too late. I'm ahead. Like, that project was a great project. That's something where I'm like, okay, that's not too far off. I appreciate it. It's still kind of within his lane, you know. And as far as substance goes, substance goes, you know, he's talking about shit that he's always talked about. Like, he's just doing it over.
It's just over exactly. It's over a different style.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I feel like a lot of big mainstream artists like that have been diving into the more like experimenting with like electronic music infused projects. Like when Beyonce dropped her project, all that new Charlie XCX shit that's it's basically techno. Like,
man, we just heard Drake on Camila Cabello.
Yeah, like, come on. Like,
it's art. Like, people forget. It's like, okay.
Thank you.
Like, I'm an abstract painter. I'm not allowed to paint realism anymore. Like, I can't go paint a landscape because I do weird abstract shit. Like, no, man. Like,
it's
I'm
art.
Having fun. Like, I want to make different type of music. Let the guy hop on on an Afro beat. Like, let him do his
signs.
Thing. If you don't like it, cool. It's not for you.
Yeah,
but like,
that's okay.
You gotta let artists do what they do. Not everything's gonna be for you, man. Man,
that part for real.
You know, you like a certain restaurant, you don't like the whole menu. Like, cool, keep eating what you like at that restaurant. There's people that are gonna like that part of the menu though. Like, it's just the way life goes, man.
That's a bar.
It's the way life goes.
That's a
brother.
bar
like,
for real.
You gotta let artists do what they do. Like a failure for instance, a failure for Drake in that techno house lane would have been like, okay, guy can't fucking do it. Go back to what you do best. And he's probably going to do what he does best at a higher caliber now that he knows, like, oh, man, I just failed in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Let me do what I do, but do it better. But the guy, like, he kind of delivered, bro. He kind of ate with that shit.
For
like,
sure.
you know?
No.
That's the way I view art.
Yeah.
You know? That's the way I view all art.
I love that.
Even I'll say this, like working with Phora, I've heard this before. What we were just talking about, like I see he sees it. We've talked about it in the past of like fans being in the comments like, man, I'm tired of the sad shit. I'm tired of the sad shit. And then we do some rap shit that they want, and the fucking streams are just not there. Like, man, you guys are asking for some shit that like does nothing for me as an artist. Like, let me just do what I do, you know. And if and the way I view things is, man, if I wake up in 2 years and I take back what I just said earlier about making the emo rap, and I want to do 2 albums full of the shit, like, so be it. Like, the fans who appreciate that will be there, and the fans who don't will not be there. The way I view it, there's fans of artists, there's fans of the actual music, and then there's fans of the genre. The fans of the artist are gonna ride with that artist no matter what they put out. Like, there's fans that just ride with Drake no matter he puts out Honestly Nevermind, whether he puts out some Take Care shit, whether he puts out some If You're Reading This, you know, they're gonna ride with the guy. There's fans of that type of music that are like, nah, I only like Drake for the sad music. Okay, cool. And then there's fans of the genre where it's like, yeah, I like his sad stuff, but I'm not really that big of a Drake fan. I just like the song, you know. That's the way we group things. Like, I look at things that way.
That's smart. I've never thought about it that way.
Like, I know I have fans that I communicate with that are like, these guys are gonna ride for me, no
regardless
what I put out. Then I know I've seen it. I've posted previews of rap stuff, and I literally had a girl respond like, this ain't for me. Like, don't drop it. And it's like, I'm not gonna not drop it. Like, it's cool. I appreciate you not liking it, but I gotta do what I gotta do as an artist.
For sure, I respect your opinion.
I gotta put that out. You know, I love it.
Yeah.
Like, not everything's going to be for the fans. If an artist did everything for the fans, bro, careers would not span 20 years. They wouldn't span 20 years. Because you wouldn't even want to be in that lane for 20 years doing what you do.
Facts.
Man, I got to live inside of this box that people created for me. I want to do some cool shit.
Yeah. When I read Rick Rubin's book, Creative Act. Yeah.
Read it.
Bro.
Beautiful. I saw it when I walked in. I'm like, real. Cultured.
Cultured. Yeah, man. That part where it was like really like the audience comes last.
Yeah.
It is something that I feel like people can get misconstrued so quick, but I really like, the more I thought about it, I'm like, man, that really is like, that's true shit. Because if you're just doing everything to please the audience, then what are you doing for you as the artist?
You're not going to want to do it anymore.
Exactly.
My dad got the best phrase. It's a little vulgar. My dad, there is a seat in the world for every ass, which is like, put the shit out and find the audience. Like, there's somebody for that. Like, cool, you made a weird ass techno song. There's some weird ass guy out there who likes techno that's gonna love your song. You made a sad fucking song. Cool, there's a sad motherfucker crying over a girl right now, and he just needs to find your song. And my biggest thing, man, out of the 8 billion people on the planet, if that's the accurate number right now, it might be 9.
I don't know. There's hella people.
People.
That's all I know.
My point being, like, let's say 6 billion of them are adults that can find your music. Like, man, 1% of that is just fucking crazy.
Astronomical.
Go reach that 1%. Don't just stop because your song didn't fucking, you know, do what it needed to do immediately. It's not going to. You need to push that shit. At the end of the day, there is still business behind this. Like, you gotta market. You gotta make your stuff appealing. Like, there's an audience out there. You just gotta find a way to reach them. If I'm gonna stop, like, let's be real. If you have a song that reaches 80,000 streams, you better fucking put some money into that.
Yeah.
Or you better get creative behind it. Because if 80,000 people listen to that shit, 8 million people will listen to it if you put it in front of their face. You got to find a way to reach them. Same with clothing. Same with anything that you put out. If you're a visual painter, and man, if you were able to sell your fucking paintings to 300 random people in your local area, like, imagine how many you could sell it to if you were able to branch out and, you know, reach a higher scale or a higher, like, audience. That's the way I look at everything.
For sure.
You have to.
I've spoke on that so many times. I think that's the beautiful dichotomy of the reality that we live in. Is you have the opportunity to do that. Like, you can push a song, do some content, post, whatever, and say, and you know, a month it does 25,000 organic, 30,000 organic with like no ad or no whatever. Like, you can take that data and be like, oh,
there's something here.
There's something here. Wait, now let me target a little bit closer. This piece of content pre-release did really well. Let me do this in a different form for now that it's post to get 30,000 to 300,000, 3 million. Like,
we're in an era where we've seen time and time again songs that are 10, 20, 30 years old blow up because of social media, TikTok. Some random influencer posts a video dancing to some 20-year-old fucking
Bro,
song.
Ocean Spray.
Bro, please.
Watch. Made Fleetwood Mac number one.
Number one. I remember that. Or how about Netflix, Stranger Things with Metallica. Come on, bro.
Or K Hill.
Yeah.
Or Kate Bush.
People were like, "Who's Metallica? Like, are you fucking for real, bro?" Like,
I can't even speak to you.
Yeah,
I can't even speak to you. You don't know who Metallica is. I don't even.
Like, don't even talk to
me. Literally, don't even talk to me. Yeah, bro. Same with that Kate Bush. I'm running up the hill.
Master of Puppets is iconic, but my point being, like, for social media to have this big footprint on the way things work now, to where, look at this, like a whole generation of people are listening to this song and have no clue, like, how massive it is just wild.
Or how massive it was.
You know?
Like that was the songs of generations. Like, and now they're like, oh my God, I love this song.
There's people who dedicate.
Like, you realize this shit was like the shit?
It was
like,
it,
this
bro.
was it.
This was God's plan back in the 80s, bro.
Facts, dog. This is
Bro,
shit.
like the biggest thing being, like, there's people who emulate this band and live a whole life with a career based on being a cover band for these people. Like,
come on, bro.
You know how successful someone has to be for you to be a cover for them? Like,
and make a living off imitating you?
Yeah, like, bro, come on. Like, you think Netflix blew that shit up? Like, be real, bro.
Come on.
But that's what comes with the industry nowadays. Like, it's so technology driven. And imagine being an artist in the 80s. Like, you had to fucking just be amazingly talented, bro. Like, there was no, you don't even have to be talented today. You could just really blow up off of some shit.
I feel that.
The biggest thing, and I had a conversation with my friend about this a couple weeks ago. They were asking me, I don't know how young the guy is, but he might be like 22 or 21. I'm 29. So I was telling him, like, man, in 2014, you couldn't even upload your own music onto Apple. Like,
literally.
Like, this wasn't a thing.
This distribution,
10 years ago.
yeah.
10 years ago, all these artists didn't exist, bro. It was whoever was on the radio.
Facts.
Like, you could not upload your shit to iTunes if you begged, you know, or Spotify. You really had to be connected to a label.
Had to.
Once everything got into the world of tech, it became easier. That's why there's so many artists that come and go, mind you, because you need to connect with the fans at the end of the day. This is what I told you about. There's fans of the artist, there's fans of the music, there's fans of the genre. All these fly-by-night artists that you see on TikTok that have one hit or maybe two hits and then can't sell out a tour, like, the people who go to your tour are the people who love your song or they love you as an artist, not the genre, bro.
Yeah.
You know, you got to build that connection with people. People have to know you as an artist and feel connected to you as an artist. And you know, really be obsessed with your songs, like, to want to come to a show. Like, you're not selling out no 20,000 capacity venue off of having one hit.
Come
like,
on.
I just watched 10 artists cancel their tour.
Literally.
Like,
I just saw J-Lo cancel all her shit.
Metro and Future couldn't even sell out their whole tour, and they had an album dissing the guy all over the radio forever. Like, you couldn't even sell out a tour because it was a moment. You feel me? Like, you got fans. Don't get me wrong. Those are huge artists.
Sure. Oh,
you got fans, but, like, you ain't doing no stadium tour off of a Kendrick feature on your album. Like, you're not doing it. You know?
Nah, I feel you. I mean, I've always said that, bro. Guys, come on. Go back to any fucking episode, literally, of this entire show. I've always said it since day one. Whoever builds community first wins.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm talking real community. Like you said, building that connection to where your fans are fans of you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the goal. That's
to.
the goal. Why would it?
Yeah.
Like, I want you to be fans of me because I'm really just being me. Like, that's it.
Fans of you as an artist are the return listener. Like, if you don't have fans of you, you're going to be chasing new listeners for the rest of your career. You know? It's like chasing return customers. Like, man, if I have to pay for ads on, let's say I have a clothing brand. If I had to pay for ads.
Yeah, for real. Shout out. He brought me a fucking care package when he showed up today. Fucking hat, shirt, like 2 hoodies over there, stickers, air fresheners. I got half a new closet today.
For real. If I had to spend money on ads for the rest of the span of life for my brand, I'll be wasting so much money. At some point, you need to retain an audience that's just doing it off the love. Like, I don't have to pay you to be here anymore.
Yeah, you choosing to be here.
You're here for the love. And those are the people that are the repeat listeners.
Yeah.
Like, if you're an artist and you go on your Spotify and you look at your monthly listeners, that constant 1,000 or however many artists or listeners that are there for you, that's your diehard fan base. You got to cater to them.
Yeah.
You got to put out merch. You gotta do meet and greets. You gotta communicate. Start little group chats. There's a million things that you could do to connect with your fan base as an artist that you need to be doing. It's not just drop a song and like their comment. Like, you gotta do more than that, Brody. Like, we're in a day and age where social media has you connected to your fans. If you're not doing as much as the next guy, you're losing the race. You're losing the race because there's a guy hungrier than you out there. He's responding to fans in the DMs. He's creating group chats. He's sending out CDs. There's guys out there working. They're working. Hard work always beats talent. Time and time again.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yep.
Come on.
100%. Come on,
man.
bro.
I feel that so
That's
heavy.
it is. That's my sentiments on the music shit. Really. Like, everything I just said is just the way it is. And people gotta go through it to see that that's how it is.
Yeah.
They don't believe you until, like,
they're in it.
Oh man, I got a hit song. Like, cool, bro, put it out and see how big of a fucking hit it is without the hard work. It's not.
Man, I feel that really heavily. Really heavily. I want to ask you something because I just, like I said, this is the first time that we met.
Yeah.
But I'm always trying to think how to phrase this. I'm always an advocate of checking in on your people.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always a big advocate of checking on your people, making sure people straight. And like I said, this is the first time that we ever met, but it's always been love.
Yeah.
Even though we've never met, it's always been love. And I know just basically from what I've seen on social and a little bit that you shared in the beginning of the episode is it seems that you've experienced a lot of loss.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
That's got to be tough. And, from what I've seen, number one, I just want to give you my condolences and my heart goes out to you for real. Like, that shit is tough. This shit fucking make me tear up. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I probably will as we
yeah.
get into this.
Yeah, for real. That's what I'm saying. I probably will too because, like, I've experienced a little bit of it. And not to the extent that I think you have, just from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And I'm just keeping it a buck on that.
Yeah.
But I think as hard as that is, and like I said, you're welcome to share or speak as much about it as you want.
Yeah.
But I think it's almost as hard as it is being an artist. I think it's one of the greatest tools.
100%.
And it's such a fucked up connection. It really is. But I'm just speaking from personal, and I'm sure you feel a very similar way that it does change the way that you go about, the way that you move in the future. Yeah. So, but like I said, number one, I haven't got to tell you to your face. I wasn't going to tell you over the phone because, I'm a man. I want to tell you to your face that, my heart goes out to you for real because that shit's tough.
For sure.
I know that shit is tough.
My thing with checking on people, it obviously stems back to, like, early loss and things that I went through as a kid. And loss isn't just like losing people passing away. Loss is just losing pieces of yourself through different circumstances in life. I'm big on it, Sometimes I even bug people. Are you good?
Yeah,
like,
for real.
Are you good?
For sure.
I would rather bug you and you be mad at me that you're good than
me not
asking and you're not good. Like, you be mad at me for all you want. Man, I've met up with, we have a mutual friend. I'm not gonna name names, but to where, like, I've gone and met with that person to make sure they were good. Like, nah, man, you're meeting me in the morning. We're gonna go talk. I don't want you to be alone, and we're gonna figure this shit out. Like, I've experienced shit that I don't want, to experience again. Whether that's being there for a friend even when I'm busy and I gotta cancel some important shit, I'll go do it. I think the real earliest loss that I felt that really affected me and changed me, as far as like a passing away, was my brother that I talked about earlier. That was the first one where I was just I was 15, so it was just
that's a hard age.
Difficult, like you're transitioning into being a man, and you're figuring things out, especially as a teenager in high school. It's easier to talk to a sibling or somebody closer to your age than it is to go to your parents for things. So my brother was always my go-to, whether it was girls, whether it was baseball, whether it was talking about music, life. Like, it's just easier to talk to your brother than it is to talk to your dad or your mom about certain things. So for me, it was difficult. And I just remember not being able to really cope with it because that was my best friend. And so I was going through a lot of things in life, whether it be stuff that I just mentioned, or more deeper things like really just being lost as a person and trying to find your place again. Um, it was hard doing it without my best friend, because you're like, man, like I'm really doing this shit by myself now. Like I have to find the answers, and I have to go through right and wrong. I can't go to somebody that's been through the right and wrong to kind of like give me a bouncing board to move off of anymore. And it was just difficult really growing up without him. And it sucked, A lot of things changed. Family dynamic was the biggest thing. Like the family came together for that moment, like people who haven't talked in years come together, and it's a good feeling. And then it just goes the other way again, and it's a shitty thing. Watching my parents hurt over it, watching his mom hurt over it sucked. And I think the loneliness that came with it and not having him anymore, and growing up and figuring things out for myself, because I got real quiet after that, bro.
I don't blame you.
I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to be friends with nobody. I was just really to myself. Sadly, even quit baseball pretty much. I played like one more season after that, just because every time I was on the field, I thought of him, and I regret it, but I needed to go through that and figure that out my own way.
For sure.
But that really is what pushed me to being an artist, was the bond that I built with him over music, and wanting to keep it alive. When he passed away in 2010, Facebook was still like early. It's like year one of like, not year one of the company being available to people, but year one of like people getting off of MySpace and going to Facebook. So I would go to my old messages with him on MySpace and old comments with him, and like there was like a rap battle between me and him in one of our messages, and I was like, damn. It really like made me think, fuck, like maybe I use this passion that I've always had as an outlet. So this is me going back to your first question. Like I started writing music to cope with that, like the sadness that came with losing him. And I would write poems in middle school, and once I got to high school, my sophomore year, and he passed away, it became heavier. Like I was writing a lot more. I started rapping over beats and teaching myself about bars and cadences, and the way you come into ending a line, like a quarter in or a 2/3 in, and like just landing on the beat. I really started teaching myself the technical aspects of music, and it was a big outlet for me, and I started to feel better. Being able to put my feelings into something and not bottling them up all the time, because that's what I was doing. So yeah, loss is a shitty thing, but it leads to beautiful things as an artist, which was the point you're getting to. I give something for my fans to relate to, whether or not I'm there for you personally in a one-on-one setting as a fan. Like I hope at least I gave you something creative to hold on to really show you that, man, you ain't alone. Like I've been through it too, and it's a shitty thing. And I hope this helps you cope. It's not going to heal you, but I hope it helps you get through it, or I hope it evokes a good feeling and reminds you of the good times you had losing somebody. On the other hand, the other type of loss that I talked about is stuff that you go through, on a day-to-day, which is things like in my childhood being 4. Like I've never talked about this, but my parents divorcing and separating fucked me up as a kid. And you don't realize it until you're older how much it really fucks you up. But I just remember like sense of abandonment. Like I didn't, as a 4-year-old, understand what was going on. Like, oh, like one of my parents is taking me and the other one don't want to be with me. Like what's going on? As time went by, you learn as a teenager, you learn even more. But as an adult, you realize like, man, like I can't blame my parents for this feeling or for putting me through that. Because at the end of the day, it took me maybe 21 years to learn this, but like your parents are here for the first time too.
Man,
like
bro, that's
my
so
dad,
crazy.
like as much as me and him bump heads, I gotta tell myself and remind myself like, man, this guy's going through emotions and depression and different things that I might not be privy to. And my dad's the type of man that's never gonna tell me that, because he's a man. Like he ain't gonna tell me, man, I'm sad and yada yada yada. He's gonna put on a strong face,
Exactly.
and he's gonna do what he has to do as a dad to provide and make his kids feel like everything's okay.
Yep.
That's a parent's job, bro, is to make you feel like everything's okay. And when you're a young kid, you look at these people like superheroes, like they can't do wrong. Like, man, that's just a human being. And it took me my whole life really to, life up to now, a few years ago, to realize like, man, that's a human being that experiences the same feelings as me, that is in his head or in her head as much as I am. and I really need to be more empathetic and
Facts.
and understand what they may be going through, because they're not gonna tell me.
Yeah.
They're just not gonna tell me. And when I have kids, I will do the same thing. I will never let my kids know that something's wrong. You know, you got to put on a strong face for them. And it took me 21, 22, maybe even 23 years for me to finally learn, like, oh yeah, like I got to put my boots on and tighten them up and go figure life out, because they're going through the same shit. They might not even have the answers to something that I'm dealing with, because it's their first time here.
Yeah,
you know?
they're living life for the first time, just like we are.
They ain't been here for 1,000 years to know all the answers. Like, I might wake up tomorrow and get myself into a situation they know nothing about. You know,
valid.
So that's another type of loss, bro. And I just wrote a song like 3 weeks ago, actually, talking about the abandonment issues and crying about, you know, things that were said to me like in the heat of the moment by either one of my parents.
I feel you.
And I'm gonna talk about them. Do I have ill feelings towards my parents still? Absolutely not, given what I've learned over the years.
Exactly.
You know,
but that's maturity.
Yeah, like,
that's maturity.
Yeah, my mom may have said XYZ to me. My dad may have said XYZ to me, but it's a heat of the moment thing, and it's not something that they're gonna come to me and apologize for, because there's not,
no need.
You know, there's no need to. Like, at this point, especially, like, I understand, like, you were going through a situation and you were trying to put on a strong face for me. You fucked up saying something to me that hurt me as a kid, as an adolescent, and I took it with me into my adulthood. But I learned things on the way to being who I am now that taught me that you didn't mean that, you know. And that's just a quiet thing that I have to keep in mind whenever I'm with them. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna hold you to that. You know, you didn't mean it.
Facts.
And no one's perfect. We're all human beings. We all say things out of the heat of passion, and you know, especially when you're in a situation that has you in a bind behind the scenes, like, you're prone to just wild out. You know, like, I might just
say some shit.
Like, shut the fuck up. Like, you just gotta cope with shit.
Feel that.
But yeah, the most recent loss probably is the worst one. My best friend of like 20 years, low key the love of my life. We never really like made it work.
But there was always that.
It was always there.
Yeah, it was always there.
I knew, her sister knew, her brother knew, her mom knew, like, my mom knew, but we were never, I think we were just too close, and we were too good of friends to ever actually
take it to the next level.
Take it there, you know? I low-key feel like the level we were at was beyond being in a relationship. Like, we were so close with each other. There's not a thing I didn't share with her. Not a thing she didn't share with me. I wasn't closer to anyone in the world. So it was literally the first of the month on the first day of the year, January 1st, New Year's. I woke up to that. And I remember the night before, for whatever reason, I went to Countdown.
NYE, yeah.
Yeah, I was with Jesse.
Yeah.
Shout out my boy.
Shout out Jesse.
I was with Jesse and Ant and a couple of other friends. And I remember on the way home, for whatever reason that night at like 2 a.m., I was driving by myself, driving home, and emotions just hit me. I have the voice message in my phone. I'm never gonna play it for anyone, but like, I messaged Jesse, bro, in tears. Like, I don't know if it was going from that absolute moment of happiness of being with my friends after just a year of adversity and hard times, to like being in my car alone, sad that the moment ended, or whether it was just kind of my spirit telling me, like, man, let go of all that shit right now. Like, cry it out. I sent him a 4-minute voice message, just like spiel, like telling him how much I love him and care about him, and I appreciate you for being there for me, because it's been a hard year. You were there for me through shit no one knows about. Like, Jesse was there for me, bro, when I went through like a hard time. I couldn't even buy McNuggets for myself, like, financially, you know. And I'm not no lame though. Like, I'm gonna get out of the hole, and Jesse watched me crawl my way out of the hole, like nails in the ground, like figuring it out. And I figured it out, because I've been there before, bro. I didn't grow up with everything. Like, I had to learn how to get money, you know. So I did, but I was just grateful to have a friend like that, because I hadn't had a friend like that since my brother, you know, that really, Jesse held me down through shit and was just there for me and never judged me, you know, not seriously, like, bro would throw a little funny shot here and there, but I appreciate it. He knows I love him. And, I sent that voice message. I was like, don't know why I felt that way. And so waking up in the morning and learning that she had literally passed away as I was sending that message was just crazy to me. Like, I felt weird. Didn't know how to react the next day. Almost canceled my tour with Phora. I low-key did, just because I was going through so many emotions at that time. I bottled it up. I still haven't even grieved properly. You know, I've been through so much loss in that aspect of my life that I don't grieve immediately anymore. I kind of like let it bleed out in bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Whether it's through my art, whether it's through a night where I just get overwhelmed by emotions and let it out. But as an artist, I go through a lot of that on my own and in private, and I don't run to social media with my tears and tell fucking, you know, everyone like, oh man, I spent the night crying. Like, I don't do that shit. I go away, I disappear, I go through little fits, and I figure it out.
Yeah.
And I put it in my music, and I hope as an artist to come back with something for my fans to just relate to.
Yeah.
You know, I don't use anything as a selling point. Like, the feelings that I feel about things in real life stay real life and private. I don't turn them into a parade to push music or anything like that.
You're not trying to monetize off grief in a way, if that makes sense.
I don't, bro.
Yeah.
You know, made one post about the thing, and that was it. Literally just disappeared after that. Because I was just in shock, bro. Knew the girl for 20 years. So
it's a long time.
Long time. And she was the one person that I talked to about the music, like pushing me to do it, you know. She knew how much I loved it, and yeah, it's like I was sad that she didn't get to see what's to come. But I always remind myself, like, I believe that, you know, people are still here with us. Like, whether it's in our heart, whether it's just watching over us, I take that into everything that I do. Even now, like, I want to cry, but I just can't because I've built up a wall for so many years that, like, I'm almost just numb to this shit. Like,
I get you.
I don't feel no more, you know. It's sad. It goes back to what I was telling you about how I grew up when my brother passed away. Vivid memory. One of those, like, trauma things that I told you about. I started crying. I was in my little cousin's room. Like, we have, like, a gathering house. I know a lot of people do that, but it's like a cultural thing. We're all at my uncle's house. And I remember going to my little cousin's room and just crying, like laying face first in his pillow, just bawling my eyes out. And my uncle, my dad, my other uncles came in and they're like, get up, like, stop crying. And I was just like, damn, like, can y'all let me
do my thing?
Yeah. Like, let me grieve. But, like, that's what I mean by growing up with a bunch of men that are just, grow up, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not right. It's not wrong. It's like a cultural thing. And, you know, I don't blame them. It made me stronger as a man. But at the same time, like, damn, sometimes I just want to be letting it out, you know?
No, I feel you.
So, and it happens. Like, I'm a human being.
For sure.
It'll happen. It'll come out sometimes.
Yeah, vulnerability is part of being human.
Of course.
I think it's a really important aspect of being human that I think
for sure, bro.
that, to be honest, I wish more people shared.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I have no issue sharing. I'll always
Yeah.
share. If people ask and or if someone's going through something that I see, like, oh, I've been through that, like, I'm the first to reach out, bro. Trust me. I'll send you an essay, like, to be there for you and let you know, like, man, things are going to get better. But sometimes, like, if I know somebody and I know they're not the type of person that really wants to go back and forth about something, I'll check in, like, yeah, you're good?
Yeah.
Like, and just leave it there. But when it comes to somebody asking me, like, oh, man, I'm going through something, like, how do you get through it? I'm there, bro. I'll let you know what I've been through, you know, and tell you, like, it ain't easy, you know, but.
No, that's part of the reason why I asked. I don't mean to interrupt, because
of course.
I got that vibe immediately when you walked in.
Yeah.
Your presence is very warming. You know what I mean?
It, bro.
So it's like usually people who are like that when they step in a room and like there's just like an aura around you that's very, very caring.
I appreciate it.
And just the way, you know, when we were talking off camera, the way you were talking about, you know, your people and instances with people that you used to work with, yada yada, all this, and making the right steps to make sure that relationships and people knew that this is the way that it is, not because of
it's genuine.
this.
Like,
it's genuine.
I care about you and I love you.
Exactly.
And I don't want it to be anything other than that.
and that's one of the biggest qualities in anybody that I could ever respect. So that's
I appreciate it, bro. It means a lot.
It's very easy to see to me, you know, about you. Like,
it's also like, I will say, you know, given everything, sometimes I rub people the wrong way in business, but it's because I stand firm on business being business and friendship being friendship. And I don't ever like the two intermingling, because then feelings start to get put in jeopardy. But I will also say that people that I've had disagreements with over, you know, the way I posture in business and not liking me because I seem very, like, mean or strict, later on in life, I'm still friends with, because they appreciate the fact that, oh, man, he was just doing his job. Like, he needed to be like
Yeah.
that to get things done. He's a cool guy. Like there's a few people that they just don't like me, and it is what it is. Like
Not everybody's gonna like you.
not everyone's gonna like you, bro.
If everybody likes you, then you got a problem.
Yeah, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, something's wrong
You're
with
not
you.
being genuine. Like
Facts.
there's just people who won't like you for your face, for your name, for the way you look. It's just life. So I don't ever really like, you know, put too much weight or stock or think too much about that. But I know that I have like not hundreds, but I have a ton of people who love me, you know. So I got to be doing something right.
For sure.
I'm not perfect, like I said earlier. Like
nobody is.
Off camera, I said that to you. I said, man, I'm not perfect. Do not look at me as some idol. Like I'm an artist. Don't look at me as a human being, as some messiah. Like I'm not that. I fuck up all the time. Like I'm not perfect. I'm not your kid's role model. Like don't let your kid look up to me. Not in a bad way. Like I don't do bad shit, but I'm not perfect, bro.
Yeah,
like,
you just don't want that pressure of trying to be.
I'm not. You know, don't put me on a pedestal I'm not able to climb onto. So I'm not. You have me at the top of the ladder. I might not want to be up there, bro. Yeah. I like the third step. Like, or like, you know.
Feel that.
It's like, I'm not gonna have the answer for your kid, or I'm not gonna have the answer for you all the time.
Yeah.
Like I could be there for you through my music, and I hope it helps, or I hope if you reach out to me, like I can help you. But I'm not perfect, man. Yeah. It goes back to I'm here for the first time too, brother. Like
we all are
the same way you are.
Exactly.
I don't got the answers like that. So I just try to be the best that I can with people, and I try to be very upfront. And sometimes the bluntness of it is like hard to
trust me.
Deal with.
I'm the same way. I'm
just straight to it.
Yeah. There's no sugarcoat. No. My fucking girl hates it, but I'm just like, yo, this is
who I am.
Literally, this is who I am. It's the only way I know how to tell you, and it's only because I care that I'm telling it to you the way that it fucking is.
You might not think that now though, but you
realize,
will. You know, my biggest thing with that is just I'm who I am, and I learned. I want to say it takes people a while to learn, and it took me a while to learn that I just got to be me, and I can't try to please everyone. Not everyone's going to like me. If I am who I am and people stick around and love me for who I am, those are my people. Like, you take me for who I am. That's not to say that if I'm, you know, wrong in something that I do, that I'm not going to work and be better at something. Like, if I got to make a change to my character, I'll make a change to my character. But I'm not going to change and manipulate my character to keep people around. Like, I'm who I am. You take it for what it is or you don't. Like, I'm not here as a bad person. Like, I might just be difficult to fucking, you know, cope with or to conversate with, but this is just it. Facts. You got to take it for what it is.
Man, I love that. Yeah. I love that for real.
When I was young, like, middle school, like, I really wanted to fit in, bro. Like,
everybody
I didn't fit in, bro.
Everybody does.
You know, I was a loner. I would write poetry, just crazy.
I think that's the beauty though of being that age, is the innocence of not understanding
how cool the world could be, like,
or just how cool about literally just being you is until you get older. And you know something, and my heart goes out to people that haven't figured that out yet, because it's like there's a lot, bro.
It's like letting the weight off your shoulders.
Bro, that's what I'm saying.
You know,
Like,
just me.
And it is what it is.
It is what it is, bro. You either like me or you
don't,
bro.
No, that's it. Like, there's nothing more to it.
Yeah, I reached out crazy. I just released a poetry book on my website. I've been writing it for a few years. My best friend from middle school, who I was with every day, spent every day with after school, during school. Her best friend was actually my first girlfriend. Like, we were a little triangle. So it was like that in middle school. She reached out to me about my book, and we chopped it up about life. I was like, yo, how have you been? Yada, yada, yada. And she's like, damn, remember when you used to sit by yourself outside of Dr. Rogers' class and just write? And I was like, yeah, like, man, I was outside my English professor's class every day in 7th grade, like, poem, teaching myself. Like, I wasn't even fucking good. Like,
yeah, you're just
shit was horrible.
Just writing though.
Just writing, you know. And I remember saying, and we talked about it was crazy, fulfilling moment. I remember being in middle school, like 7th and 8th grade, saying like, I'm gonna be a rapper, I'm gonna be a singer, I'm gonna be blah blah blah, you know, dreaming, like trying to be cool.
Yeah.
And like, I stuck to my guns, and now it's like, oh shit, I did exactly what I said I was going to do 15 years ago, 16 years ago. It took me forever to feel comfortable enough to actually, you know, move forward with the idea. But here I am. And it was a cool moment to go back to my best friend and be like, oh, shit. Like, I told you. Yeah, you know, I was going to do it. I'm not the biggest, but I'm, you know, there's success there.
I'm working my way.
Got to build on it. and yeah, it was a crazy feeling to just go back and be like, damn, like I really did used to say that. I did say that. I did, you know, manifest this and say that this was gonna happen. I wouldn't have done it if she didn't hit me up with it, because like I don't think back that far. I kind of, life's at a point now where I just think within like the here and now.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
I'm just
Not
in the
trying to think
moment.
too far out.
I'm not thinking about what I said in 7th grade. But it was a cool moment to have somebody like that, important from my past, you know, bring that up, and I'm just like, oh shit, like you're right.
Yeah, because sometimes we forget to stop and smell the roses.
Oh, for sure. It was crazy thinking back to like a 13-year-old me writing and doing that now, still at 29, like 16 years. Like I didn't put out my first actual real body of music until last year, you know, that I really feel like, okay, I sat down as an artist and did what I had to do. It took me fucking, from 13 to 28, 15 years to feel comfortable enough in my own skin and with my own thoughts and my own, you know, positive and negatives in life, to put something out there and be comfortable with the world seeing it. It's a vulnerable thing to be an artist and do that, especially in that little genre of like emo rap, man. Like it's easy to get hated on, like, man, you're being a bitch. Like I hear that shit all the time, but it's like, man, I'm comfortable enough to put shit out there that you're not able to cope with. Like, like obviously your feelings are inverted if you're calling me a bitch for putting my feelings out there. Like, buddy, you should pick up a notebook and
you should talk to yourself.
You should talk to yourself.
Yeah, you should talk to yourself.
Yeah, I did that shit. Like,
for real. No.
I'm comfortable in my skin, you know.
Yeah, as you should be.
I have no problem putting out there in a song some crazy negative shit that I went through. Like, it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
I went through it. I'm being real about it. It is what it is. I have no shame in that. Yeah. I'll make a song about me crying over XYZ. I know people are going to relate to it, and I know that it's what I really went through, you know. I don't have an issue with it. I don't got a posture for people to like me anymore. It's like, that's the one thing that I'm glad I lost in middle school. Like we said, like, if you're yourself, life's easier, bro. If you don't got a lie to chase after for every day, like, living. Just living life.
That's literally the fucking point, dude.
I don't got nothing to you know, to
impress or
improvise.
Yeah,
like,
facts.
I'm just me, bro.
I got no character to try and keep up.
It's just me, bro.
That's perfect, bro. I love that.
The guy you met when I walked in, the guy in the music, bro.
Yeah,
I'm just me. Like, it is what it is. I don't care if people like me or not. My mom raised me to just be me. Like, bro, don't let nobody change you. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You be you. I'm proud of you. As long as my mom and my dad are proud of me, I don't give a fuck. You know, if I could go to sleep and be okay with myself as a human being, I'm good, bro.
I feel that really heavy.
I gotta live for strangers. Like, come on, bro.
Oh man, I feel that, bro. That is literally a fucking perfect fucking segue into the last fucking segment of this fucking show, because it's already been an hour.
Yeah.
And we're gonna kind of finish. I'm gonna ask you a question, then I'm gonna ask you the final question of the show that everybody gets asked. But before I ask the question, I want to kind of give you a chance to tell people who are listening, your fans of the show, what's next for you. Yeah. What can people expect? You know, we was just talking about the music, so I was like, oh, this is a perfect segue. Let expand on it. What's next? What's upcoming? Just share some.
So, I mean, early on when you and I were talking before, I spent a lot of time as a songwriter, and I feel like being a songwriter for artists is cool. It comes with its pluses and minuses. For sure. The pluses being the experience that you build in songwriting and being comfortable with your pen, and the negatives being, fuck, I wrote that amazing shit and I wish it was mine, you know, or I at least got the credit for it. But just the next coming months, the next, you know, rest of the year, Q3 and Q4, music, maybe like 21 songs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, like heavier. Put out 5 songs last August, and now, you know, it took time off to just kind of like, oh shit, I actually put out a project that took all my energy. Let me work and
let me rejuvenate.
Been writing, living life, going through, you know, what we talked about earlier, which inspired a lot of fucking sad writing. For sure. 21 songs. I got an EP and an album on the way. Wow. I'm not gonna do the artist thing and give a date because I have no fucking idea. Yeah. I just know that they're
not there yet.
They're both dropping before February. Okay. I'm lying. I will give one date for an album. It's so far away, it don't matter. But I want to drop an album on Valentine's Day because it's a release day for DSPs. It lands on a Friday, which is gonna be the debut album. That's the debut album. That's the real one. You know, it's not the EP. It's not the little mixtape. It's the project. Album. It's the project. fully independent.
Good for you.
You know, I would love to
For sure.
sign some. I'm smart enough to sign into a deal and know like, oh man, this fucking 2 years might suck, but I know what to do with the money after the 2 years.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that comes with being in the industry for so long. But yeah, working on that, more visual content, more music videos, or even just
short form visual.
Short form. That's what's in right now.
Yeah.
You know,
short form visual.
5K music videos are out. 10K music videos are out. No one's watching that shit no more.
Yeah, honestly, if you do a 1K 3 reel grab for that's what you need.
You're getting more than you would out of a music video. Don't get me wrong. You need a music video, a couple, in-depth, long projects. But
I always think my idea on that is like, if you have a song that you really like, you send it to like a creative director or someone. They're like, yo, I think this sounds big. Let's run some visuals, some short form, 3 to 5. I'm like,
yeah.
Let me do this. Let me spend 1,000, 2,000 max, and like really doing this dope. And then you kind of take it as like it's fucking R&D, and it's like yo, okay, people vibing with the song, the
music video.
There you go.
You need the big like music videos for the song that makes sense. You don't need a music video for a fucking song that's gonna get 10K streams. Bro.
Exactly.
Like, you don't
so it's like let's do the research, and then you can just tailor the music videos of what you did in short form and just expand on it.
Yeah, I wanted to do a music video for every song on my EP, but
yeah,
budget one. I just picked the song that had the most streams. Like, it's what makes the most sense. This shit got 200,000 streams. The other ones are like at 20, 30. Like, let me do the one with 200,000 streams and just build. Obviously, there's a recipe for success somewhere in there. Like, let me add a visual to it. Facts. So I did that. Definitely more short form because I did not do enough of that for this EP. But it's still not too late to promote that, which I'm still going to work on. Aside from that, bro, I want to go on tour. My own tour, small one, I want to drop these projects and reassess at the beginning of the year. And I don't care if it's a small 20 capacity bar tour, bro. Like, I just want to go connect with people that really fuck with my music.
I love that.
I know LA will be a good show. I've already done LAOC, and I know I could do a good size there. But other than that, just clothing brand. That's my other creative outlet for the things that I can't really put into words musically. Like, it's easier to kind of give a feeling off of clothing.
Well, I'll tell you what, this fucking clothing is high quality. Let me tell you, I'm over here with this
I've
corduroy,
been doing it for a long time.
This fucking velvet. I'm like, yo, this shirt mad comfy. I'm like, yo, this shit is fucking nice.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, this shit is nice, bro.
I'm what you call a sea turtle in the clothing industry, bro. I've been in it for 12 years. I'm old in the clothing industry.
Fin, noggin, dude.
Oh, come on. Cultured,
bro. Cultured. I love it. I'm excited, bro, for the new music.
Same. It's gonna be a mixture of different things. I got conceptuals, so 2 conceptual projects coming up, a bunch of singles. Actually, a single dropping in a couple weeks in August.
Sweet.
Play it for you once we end this.
Yeah, love to hear it.
But yeah, other than that, I will say you'll be the first one to know. I'm planning on obviously the clothing brand's Magnolia. I lived on Magnolia my whole life in Garden Grove. My dad literally lived there when I was born. The first time I met my dad was at the apartments that I lived in as a baby on Magnolia. Didn't meet my dad till I was like 4 months. So the story goes, I'm going to give you this cool little segment. My mom pulled up to the apartment and my dad came down to get me, saw me for the first time, picked up my car seat to take me inside. And the story goes from my mom that I looked up at my dad and I immediately started smiling. And he goes, I guess you know who I am. And like that for me was like, oh shit. So my life started there. I lived in these apartments until I was like 2. My dad went and bought a house. And then from there, it was just apartment to apartment with either one of my parents, just bouncing back and forth every other day or whatever. Constant moving. When I turned 18, I ended up back at the same apartments. Same apartments that I lived in my whole life as a baby,
Yeah.
And my dad lived in for years, for a decade almost. And it was like a full circle. And when I did, I had no idea that like the story or the nostalgia of it until like started looking at photos like, oh shit, this is the same alleyway that I park in every day, like as a baby, So I named the brand that because for me, it's like Magnolia Gardens is planting seeds for something that grew into a beautiful thing, whether it was a good life or a bad life. And that's why I named it that. There's deep meaning to the name. So I'm starting Magnolia. I want to say music, but it's more of just a creative label of like artists, songwriters, producers, videographers, visual artists, and just kind of like meshing them all under this one creative team, almost like a Dreamville or like a,
like a Lyrical Lemonade or something
I
like that.
want to create community, a tight-knit family of artists that we all push each other, we all do for each other, and everyone who's a part of it is either equity stakeholder. I'm not doing no like, oh, you eat when I eat. Like, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Like, if we eat, we're all eating.
Facts.
If we're not eating, we're all gonna find a way to eat.
Yeah.
Like, and
I love that.
I want to do it the right way. So that's probably my biggest plan that I'm working through right now, and is approaching the people that I love and fuck with the most, that I know are creatives, and bringing them into that and making it all make sense for us. But I really want to do that because I was a part of something, and I want to do it myself the right way.
Hell
you know?
yeah.
So Magnolia. I'm getting used to the name of Magnolia. Magnolia. You just got to manifest the feeling behind it. Like,
facts.
I've heard people be like, yeah, that shit sounds like, and I'm like, yeah, don't say that.
Yeah. Don't tell me that.
Don't hype me up. Don't hype me up.
Don't tell me that. I got to figure that out.
You have me on some crazy tangent for the next year. Like, let it be what it is, man.
Facts. Let it be what it is.
Well, Pisces, let me dream, bro. But yeah, that's
I love that, bro. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for all this shit coming up, man. For real.
I've been, quiet behind the scenes and stuff, but
that's where shit gets done.
Next coming months, you'll see. The sky isn't so crazy.
Well, fucking everybody be on the fucking lookout, because I'm fucking excited.
Appreciate it.
Well, man, I'm going to ask you the final question that every guest gets asked, so don't feel alone.
Okay.
It is 7 on 7's one life advice question.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a fan of yours, someone on the street, don't matter, comes up to you and says, Q, I need a piece of advice right now, man. I need a piece of life advice to get me through. What would be one thing you would tell somebody? One piece of advice.
It's probably the key advice that I live through every day, and it's the motto of my brand. Everything will be okay. Do not let circumstances or people who move against your ambitions or your dreams in life guide you or influence you away from them. Like, if I listened to people in my life who told me music wasn't a good idea or art wasn't a good idea or quitting my job at Nordstrom was fucking stupid and dropping out of school or breaking up with my girl was stupid, I wouldn't be where I am right now. As scary as those things were in that moment, like, I had faith in myself that it was going to turn out the way it needed to, and it has. Is that to say the path's been perfect? No, of course not. It's been filled with shit. It's been filled with loss. It's been filled with arguments and drama, and it just comes with life. But at the end of the day, I got through all of those things, and every hard time that I ever went through, I got through. Like, when I go through things now, and let's say I'm going through a tough time, I never sit there like, oh, it's the end of the world. Like, man, I've been through some shit like this 100 times, and I got through it every time. I got to go through the bad feelings right now, and it fucking sucks, but everything will be okay.
Facts.
You got to just keep going. Don't give up, no matter what. You got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, why would anyone else believe in you?
Damn fucking right.
That's it.
You got to be the first one to believe in you.
You got to.
Have to. Number one.
You got to be your number one fan.
Have to, bro. Man, I believe in that so much.
No one's cheering for a guy on stage that don't look like he's confident. Like, man, you're not the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not the guy.
You're not him.
You're not him, bro.
You're not that guy, pal.
If it looks like it, walks like it, talks like it, it must be it. You know? You go up there thinking you're the guy, even though you're not, people are going to believe you're the guy. That's how it works.
Come on, bro. Come on,
it's like
bro.
5 dimes right
I
there.
know. That's like 5 dimes. I'm not even going to, we're going to end it on the 5 dimes right there. Well, guys, man, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Q, I appreciate you coming on, man. This was a fucking beautiful episode.
I want to add something.
Add.
I've been hesitant to, obviously I told you me and bro recorded something. It didn't get put out, but I was excited, and usually I'm not willing to do stuff like this and really open up, but in watching your other podcasts and talking to you for the last year, I did feel like, okay, this is a genuine guy. This is a good setting, and it's very open and real, and I'll go do it.
I appreciate that.
That's why I'm here, and that's why I feel comfortable doing it. Like, this was a good combo.
Yeah.
There was no, in the industry, sometimes it's like,
no, I feel you.
I don't want to pull up to that.
And I feel you.
I knew immediately.
I really do.
I knew immediately, like, no, this is just going to be good convo. Bro has good energy, good vibes, and that's literally what it was.
I
so
appreciate that.
I appreciate you letting this be my first, sit down and kind of open up.
I'm honored that this is the first, bro.
It won't be the last.
It won't be the last. And that really means a lot, bro. That's always been my goal since day one I started this podcast is I don't care who you are, how big you are, how small you are, what you do, what you don't do. I just want you to come on and sit across from me and have a conversation like
Hey,
that.
all
That's it.
All Qasid interviews exclusively here at 7 on 7.
Come on, son.
Don't bother me or my manager with any requests for media. It's here.
You heard it here first.
Talk to homie.
Come on, boy. You heard it here first. My boy, thank you so much. Guys,
Of course,
episode 37 is now in the books.
37.
Magical episode.
Big
You know
number.
the fucking deal. We'll see you guys next week. I love you guys.
Peace out. Gang.
Peace out.